Always a pleasure having my next guest on the show. You know who it is, the phenom, Tom Pagliarulo, who will be back in action on March the 15th at Combat Zone 79, or called Dana White's Looking for a Fight against Cody Zappone. Tom, how you doing?
I'm good, Ryan. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. A lot to get to today, but first I want to start with something I saw on Instagram. I think it was Tyson that shared it, and it was you, and it looked like you were sparring with someone. I didn't know if it was like a general member, but there was like this video that said, or the music was playing like "Dumb Ways to Die," and I was trying to figure out what that was. Can you kind of elaborate and explain what happened there?
Yes. So that wasn't me. It was a tall, lanky fellow that kind of looked like me a little bit, right? But they we did a kind of like a little seminar for the company that runs our team website for all our merchandise and stuff. So they brought all their employees in, and we kind of just ran them through a little seminar. And the CEO brought some headgear and gloves and a mouth guard, and he wanted to spar one of his employees. And one of his employees happens to train a little bit. He actually had an MMA fight, couple kickboxing fights. He's from Canada, so he trains over there. We were kind of like hesitant about it, but he didn't actually knock him out. They like just staged that and planned it out. But they were throwing down for a little bit. I was cautious with them because they're only wearing like 10-ounce gloves. I was like, we got to be careful here, but it was all in good fun.
That's hysterical. So that wasn't you. That looked just like you on the video.
I know, guy's actually a little taller than me, but similar build.
Have you heard that before? Did anyone else say that to you? Because I didn't even think twice about it. I was like, "Oh, there's Tom."
No, no, that was my first time ever meeting this kid. Like he's from Canada, so they flew all their employees and they're from all over the place. I think most of them work remote. The CEO is from Vermont, but yeah, they flew a bunch of their people in, and there was some in the gym. People were like, "Wow, this kid's built just like you." But other than that, no.
Okay. Wow. Well, you guys threw me for a loop. I thought for sure that was you in there. That's
I'm knocking out
hysterical.
civilians in the gym.
Well, hey, if they want to hop in there and spar, I mean, we've seen it. What was it down in Vegas? It was someone wanted to jump in, and it was Chris Curtis, right? That put a beating on some guy.
Yeah, something like that. Him or Strickland, they're both beating up the haters all the time. So kind of their
Absolutely.
thing.
Absolutely, man. Well, listen, this fight here, March 15th, has to be the biggest one of your career, right? Dana White's going to be cage side. It's, looking for a fight, another combat zone bout. How excited are you for this opportunity?
I'm pumped, man. I'm always excited to compete. I try not to make anyone more bigger than the last one. You know what I mean? They're all kind of the same to me. It's just another opportunity for me to show my skills and just a different set of eyes on it. But other than that, man, not much is different. It's just me and another dude in a cage trying to take each other's head off.
Have you ever been to the venue? I know it's the Encore in Boston. I've never been, but I've heard it's amazing.
Yeah, I was supposed to fight there this time last year, but I ended up tearing my knee a couple weeks into camp. So I didn't end up fighting, but my teammate Nick Fury was on that card, so I was cornering him. So yeah, I got to see be in the back room, the locker room, do the whole walkout there and stuff. It's a really nice venue. It's pretty big. The locker rooms are great for the fighters. They're pretty much just little ballrooms. They got the screen set up so we can see the fights going on. It's real professional looking.
That's fantastic, man. And obviously with the guys you have around you, I mean, teammates like Calvin and Rob and Nick, and a coach like Tyson, someone that has been around the highest of levels for a long time now. They would be able to let you know if you're ready for that next step. Like, let's say you go in there, you get a dominant win, and Dana White offers you a contract. Like, what are the things that you're hearing from the people closest to you about where you're at right now, and if you're ready to be on that next level fighting, in the big show?
Yeah. So this is something we kind of talked about recently in the last couple months. I am only 5-1. I'm only 25 years old. We're not rushing it. You know what I mean? What happens happens. If they offer me a contract, we'll have to really sit down and figure out what we want to do. But I know they want me to keep developing. They want me to keep sharpening my skills, and it's not even so much the skills right now. They think I have the skills to be there. It's just why when I'm 25 years old, why rush it? You know what I mean? I have all the time in the world right now to keep developing and building my skills and really testing myself, which has been kind of hard on the regional scene. I've gotten a few good tests. Definitely taken a little harder route, I think, but it's been hard to find guys locally. So maybe after this, like we'll see what happens with Dana White, but travel around. But I'm focused on the one in front of me right now, and I know I got a tough one.
if you do get offered that contract, it'd be hard to turn it down, right? I mean, you don't know what if that could come around again down the line. So, I mean, it'd be like, obviously the answer would be yes if he
Yeah.
does say, hey.
Yeah, 100%. I know we joked around a little bit, but also on like a serious note, they do those developmental deals where they sign you under those, and you're fighting on the UFC Fight Pass shows, but you're under a UFC contract and you're getting paid by the UFC. So I'd be fighting for 10,000 and 10,000 on a regional show and get like 3 or 4 fights on that, and then they pull you in. So for me, that's the ideal situation. Yeah, I can make that kind of money on the regional scene before I get to the UFC. That's awesome. But I'm just focused on winning. That's number one. Is just let's win this fight in front of me.
Do you think you're gonna feel any different with, Dana White, Dean Thomas, Matt Sarah sitting cage side? Will you feel that maybe extra pressure?
I don't really think so, man. I guess you don't know till you know until you're in there. But I really don't think so, man. I'm fortunate enough to have kind of been around these guys by going out of the fight weeks and being at the PI, and just I'm used to the bigger names, I guess. But they're all kind of humanized to me by being out there. There's just it's just another guy doing his job. It's just another set of eyeballs. So not really, man. I don't focus much on much else when I'm in there. I'm just kind of competing. I'm just doing what I love.
Okay, fair enough. You mentioned Nick earlier. He had a short notice opportunity. He's in the UFC. Unfortunately, that debut fight didn't go his way, but he did go the distance. It was a UD loss to Matus Rebecki. What's the takeaway from your guys' standpoint? What did he learn from that fight? How does he feel, looking back at it now?
Yeah, that was a real tough debut. 3 weeks notice against the number one dude from Poland, 16-1. He was on like a 13 fight winning streak, all finishes. UFC debuts are weird. You can get a guy like that who probably should have been in the UFC a long time ago, or you can get a guy who you could probably be fighting on the regional scene right now. It's very there's so many ways to get to the UFC right now that the level of competition you can face in that debut varies pretty large. But we saw good things from Nick. We there's a lot you can take away from that fight. I'm like, all right, we can really do something here. I do believe Nick can beat that guy. I don't think there's this big skill differential. I think what it came down to is Nick just gassed out, which isn't typical Nick. You know what I mean? That was 3 weeks notice. Nick coming off a vacation, just getting home from Iceland and getting told, "Hey, you're fighting in the UFC in 3 weeks." Um, I know they're trying to book something for May for him right now. So now he's got a whole camp, and we'll really get to see what he can do. But I think he's gonna be fine. He's learning on the job a little bit now, which is always a little difficult, but guys do it. And I think Nick's gonna be fine, man. He gets better every week in the gym. It's crazy to see him spar like a month ago and then spar now. It's just he's already grown leaps and bounds. And I think that fight matured him a lot. You can see just how he carries himself in the gym. Like, okay, I'm one of the guys now. I'm in the UFC. I'm one of the best in the world, and I got to start acting like it.
I know, the MMA betting world has just blown up. That's all anyone wants to talk about. You're seeing all these different podcasts and stuff pop up now. And Nick was a huge underdog going into that fight. From a fighter's perspective, do you guys ever discuss that? Like, if Rob's coming into a fight and he's an underdog, or Calvin, like, do you guys ever, take a chip onto your shoulder into the fight when you are the dog?
I don't think as a team we do. We don't really like discuss this. Like, hey man, you're the underdog. Like, I think every fighter kind of has a different approach. All four of us approach it a little different. Calvin, I know, likes to carry that chip on his shoulder. You know what I mean? His buddies kind of gas him up. And this one said that. This person said that. And he kind of brings that chip on his shoulder. But honestly, as a team, we just focus on what we can control. And we can't control the betting lines. Can't control what people are saying. All that's just kind of outside noise. And it's really just do what you came here to do and win this fight. But I think, like, personally, every fighter takes that a little different. I know I like to be the underdog. Even when I'm not, I try and bring that underdog mentality and have that chip on your shoulder.
Rob Font versus Adrian Yanez, April 8th. I really feel like this fight should take place on Christmas because it's a gift to all of the MMA fans out there, man. Objectively speaking, right? When you look at this fight, I mean, both of these guys are so highly skilled and they're great on the feet. How do you see that fight shaking out?
Yeah, it's an interesting fight. Both great boxing. Um, I think Rob's grappling is very underrated. I don't think people have really seen it as of late. But if you go back and watch Rob's earlier fights in the UFC, Douglas Silva Andrade, guys like that, he's subbing these guys, controlling them on the ground, taking them down. Ricky Simone college wrestler, real good college wrestler, Rob comes out and double legs him across the cage and takes him down right away. So Rob can grapple, man. If I had to compare this to another fight of his, I think it's going to be very similar to the Sergio Pettis fight. I think Rob's just a much larger bantamweight than this kid. I think if we can get our hands on him, we can really ragdoll him around. And as far as the boxing, man, we've seen Giannis struggle with guys with good jabs and can keep him on his back foot. But he's game as hell. You know, he's going to be swinging loopy shots. He's going to be putting numbers together, and he's going to be there the whole time. But I think Rob's just going to be a step ahead. The sport's very forgetful. You see a guy have two tough fights against Cheeto and Jose Aldo. You know what I mean? It's like you forget what he's done in the past. And I think if you get the Rob Font that we know on that night, I think he's just a step ahead.
Do you think he finishes him?
I do. I do. I think he can finish him late in that fight. It's gonna be nice seeing Rob in a 3-rounder. He's been in these 5-round battles these past few fights, and I think you give him 3 rounds. I do, man. He starts sitting on his punches, even his submission skills, man. I do. If it hits the ground, I really do think he can finish him.
All right, man. I can't wait for that one. Give me an injury update on Calvin. How's he feeling?
Calvin looks great. He's definitely ahead of schedule recovery wise, but that's where we got to be careful because you're feeling better than your knee actually is, and you make one wrong move and now we're set back a bit. But he's doing great, man. He's at PT every day. He was out in Vegas for I think like 2 months doing PT at the UFC PI. He got back a few weeks ago. Now he's just getting ready for the show, but he looks great, man. He's walking around fine. He's actually moving around the bag a little bit. His movement looks great. So just 1% each day for him.
And I'm sure he's not, back to sparring and training and everything. What has that been like not having him around for this camp?
Um, Not much has changed, man. This isn't like new for us. We've had guys hurt before. Rob's done this. Calvin's been out before. You know, it's like we're not always in the gym at the same time together. We're on different schedules with when we fight and stuff, and you need some rest after you fight. But um, he definitely brings a mentality to the gym. But I don't know. We all kind of can uphold that when one of us isn't there. We got a huge group of guys we've been bringing in this camp. We got Chris Matino coming in, Connor Matthews, Mitch Raposo's been in there a bunch. So we got just high level guys that we've been bringing in more to have more bodies, and it's been great, man. The energies in the room is crazy. I think we have the most elite room in New England right now, and everyone's just working hard. There's no lazy guys in that room.
What's your weight at right now? I know we're still a ways out, but you on par where you normally would be?
Yeah, I'm great, man. I never have tough cuts. I can actually probably afford to eat a little more than I am. I just my genetics, man. I burn the weight fast. But yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
All right, man. Your last fight was in November, round one TKO victory over Lionel Young at Combat Zone 78. Thought you looked great, man. I mean, maybe one of your more impressive performances. Any takeaways that you can kind of pick at saying, maybe I could improve this or that? Or do you feel like it was, one of your better performances?
Yeah, I think that one went pretty much to plan how we expect it to go. I can nitpick at things I did. I think we went to the ground and I kind of dominated there. There are a few, oh, I could have maybe choked him here, finished here, and didn't. But I don't know. I felt pretty. Not much happened. He didn't give me much offense back. So I'm pretty happy with how it went.
Yeah, it was a great fight. You look fantastic in that one, man. So
Thank you.
congrats. Now, life outside of training. I know you're engaged. Is there a wedding date yet? Is that something that you're starting to plan?
Yeah, we got a date locked down. 2024. I think September 24th, right? Oh, nope. September what? 21st. So
Okay.
I gotta get a planner and write that down. September 21st, 2024 is the date on that one.
Okay. Very good. That's exciting, man. Where's the venue at?
Aldsworth Manor. It's near Keene, New Hampshire. It's beautiful, man. We toured it. There was a ton of snow on the ground when we went. We went in the middle of a storm, but even that, it looked great. It's like 70 acres of land that we get to ourselves Friday to Sunday. So it's pretty awesome. I'm excited.
That's very cool. We got married in October, so
Okay.
fall I feel like is the best time to get married because you're not sweating. It's not too cold yet. The
Yep.
foliage can change a little bit, so it's really beautiful. So that's a great time of year. Have you thought about the honeymoon? Where are you gonna go for that?
We've talked a little bit about it. Maybe one of the islands in Hawaii. That's where we got engaged, was in Oahu. Maybe go to a different island this time, but I don't know, not set on anything yet. We'll figure that out.
Okay. So has it just been, obviously, you're getting married and training? Is that all that your life has been, or have you been doing anything else? Any other hobbies that you've kind of filtered into your day to day life?
Yeah, I'm building a motorcycle right now, pretty much from the ground up. That's kind of been a lot of my time is if I'm not training, I'm out in the garage working on that. Like I said, from the ground up, other than the engine, I've cut the frame in half. It's a 1996 Harley Davidson Sportster 1200. I'm just doing like a hardtail chopper. I don't want to get too into it, too technical and bore everyone, but it's really fun, man. Motorcycles have kind of been a passion of mine for the last couple of years, and this is my first like chopper build. I've always been on sport bikes, but my future brother-in-law is big into choppers and his own builds and stuff, so he kind of got me into it, and now I'm looking to do my own.
Very cool, man. That's awesome to hear. My mother's new boyfriend, he's into motorcycles too. So who knows? Next time if you ever come up to Bangor, maybe you'll get to meet him and you guys can talk bikes. UFC
100%.
285 is later this day here today. Actually, it's Saturday. I'm not used to doing interviews on Saturday, man, but for you, I make time to do it. What are your
Appreciate it.
picks? Of course, brother. What are your picks? Who do you see winning the title fight? We got Jones and Gane for the heavyweight strap. Let's start there.
Um, that's an exciting one, man. I think they can go two ways. My prediction would be Jones submits him. I think later in the fight, or I think it could be a really boring fight. I think it has the potential to be super boring, kind of just circling around the feet. Like just no one really wants to engage too much because they both respect each other's finishing ability. Especially with Jones being up at a new weight, you know what I mean, adjusting to that power. You can do that in the gym, but until there's a guy in front of you with 4 ounce gloves on, swinging to take your head off, it's like you don't really feel it till then. So we'll see. You can't sleep on Gon. He's a big dude. He's a crazy good striker, and he's light on his feet like Jones. He moves like he's a middleweight or 205 or so. I'm excited, but I hope my first prediction's right and it's not the boring fight. I'm happy with whoever wins that fight. I think if Jones gets it done, I think he's the best to do it, man. What is he? 26-1, 27-1. I think he's like 27-0. You know, you take that one away, it's he didn't lose a fight. No one's gone in there and beat that guy. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a good night of fights. All right, let's transition to your upcoming one, man. Again, March the 15th, Combat Zone 79. You're taking on Cody Zappone. He's 2-2. His most recent fight was a round two RNC win over Kenny Champion at CES 70. What do you see from him? What does he bring to the table? What kind of a fight do you think he's going to try and bring to you?
Yeah. Man, I've been getting this question a lot, and my approach has kind of shifted a little bit since I took my first loss. I used to watch a ton of film and really like lock in on what these guys are doing. I think I did a little too much when I start to think about what they're going to do too much and not what I'm going to do. So I don't even really watch that much film anymore. You know, I watch their most recent fight and then I let my coaches do the rest, tell me what I got to do. And so from what I've been told, he's a good wrestler and he's got some real good boxing, which I'm excited about because kind of my style too, good boxing, the wrestling. Um, I've seen his last fight. He likes to kind of take the center right away, and he's super aggressive. So I'm excited with that. You get a little too aggressive with me, I have a tendency to put guys away that do that. So I'm excited. I know he's game as hell. He's gonna bring a fight, and I'm ready for it, man. It's what I want.
I know you're not a trash talking type of guy, but do you
Yeah.
believe that you're going to get him out of there? Do you feel like you're going to get a finish here and look good doing it?
Yeah, I do, man. You know, my fights have shown that I'm 5-1 right now, all finishes with my victories. It's just what I do. I find a way to make you make a mistake and I capitalize on it. But if not, man, I think I'm gonna just put a beating on him for 3 rounds. I'm excited, man. I hurt guys when I fight. I'm just so something about the way I'm built. I'm long, lanky, skinny, bony. It's like you get hurt fighting me. Even when I lost, the kid's toes sticking out, the bone sticking out of his toe. He's got stitches in his eye. Something about when I hit these guys, they just get marked up, man. So I think I'm just looking to get another finish and I get my hand raised.
And Tom, if you are still fighting on the regional scene, your next couple fights, is there someone in the New England area that stands out that you feel like would make sense for a title fight, a big marquee fight to really show everyone that you're the best in New England in your weight class?
It's tough, man, because I look at the guys in the rankings at 145, and there's really no one. There's Nate, you know what I mean? We already fought. And then Connor Matthews is up there. He's my teammate now, so we're not going to be fighting, obviously. I think he'll be in the UFC after March 15th as well. Um, so not really, man. There's really not. I think we fly guys in. I'm not interested in fighting these local guys. What excites me is someone who doesn't know me and I don't know them. You know what I mean? It's a little more pure. It feels like that big time UFC fight where it's not just some guy a state over from you or a town over from you. Um, I did get a little message sent to me about some guy talking shit on one of the Combat Zone posts, and they announced my fight. Uh, Contender Series vet. Apparently, I was supposed to fight him on this card. I don't know. His name was never mentioned to me. Apparently, I turned him down, but the name was never mentioned to me. But and I'm interested in it now. So we'll see, man. Maybe after this one, we fly that kid in and we run it for a belt.
Can you mention his name?
I have no idea what his name is. I don't look into him too much. He seems tough. I know he was on the Contender Series. I know he's like 6-1 right now. I'd be 6-1 after this when I get my hand raised. So sounds like a good fight to me.
Okay, I love it. I'm gonna have to do some research and figure out who
Yeah.
that is. Now, are you just going to fight for Combat Zone if you are fighting regionally, or if the NEF wanted to get you back up, would you come up to Maine and fight for New England Fights? Because I'd love to have you back there, and I know the fans in Maine would love to see you.
Yeah, man. Man, I haven't fought for NEF since my fifth amateur fight up in Bangor, actually. So yeah, they treated me awesome, man. I had a great time fighting for them when I did. I definitely go back up there. I try not to stay exclusive to. I know I've been fighting for Combat Zone a lot, but I try not to stay locked down to one promotion, especially on the regional scene. It's like whoever can get me the fights is where I want to go. And right now, that's been Combat Zone. Obviously, it helps when my teammate owns it and he's gonna put a little more effort to get me someone. But yeah, if I'll talk to anyone and fight for anyone, man.
Okay, I'm messaging Matt Peterson later today. If
Let's
if
do
that
that.
if that happens, I'd love to see you fight for NEF again. Obviously, I'd love to see you get in the UFC and have the right steps happen for you next. So whatever that is, that's what I hope for you. But I know it all starts with this March 15th Combat Zone 79 fight against Cody Zappone. Tom, always great talking to you, man. It's a real pleasure always having you on the show. Before we do sign off, I want to kick it over to you as always. Please tell people where they can follow you on social media. If you have any sponsors, anything to plug, the floor is yours.
Yeah, follow me on Instagram, just at Tom Pags. Twitter, I'm working on that one, just at Tom Pags MMA. And just shout out to my team, New England Cartel. We added a couple new guys into this camp coming up. Connor Matthews, keep an eye on him. He's the main event. Um, Chris Matinho, Brendan Marat, all these guys, man. We've all been in the room working hard together, and we're all looking to get to that next level on this card. So I'm excited. I'll see you on March 15th, man.